Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we are a part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help make it one focused on solutions.
Welcome to our pre-spring break mini-sode series. As many of you know, Kristy and I have both been planning some transitions in our life and some changes. I am readying for a move across country, and Kristy is off with friends and family. So we have pre-recorded a number of mini-sodes this week, focusing on some changes that are ahead and solutions that have implications worldwide, but are focused on a particular city. Now, this was Kristy's brainchild in a way of supporting and loving my wild and crazy decision.
So we're going to be talking about Austin, Texas, which is where Summers is heading from California. We're going to feature solutions that we've covered over the last couple of years coming out of this innovative and exciting town. These are all solutions that were sourced from our archives on the Optimist Daily. And Austin happens to be one of those interesting cities that is open to trying new things. And we're going to take a different solution each day, talk about the original article we wrote, whenever we wrote it, and then give a mini update from most recent. And I think today we're going to be tackling transportation.
Today it is about transportation, which is likely quite appropriate because this will probably air on a day when I am on the road, making our way across what hopefully is no longer the frozen tundra of the southwestern United States. The headline that we want to talk about was a story from November of 2020, and the headline reads, City of Austin votes to spend $7 billion to revolutionize transportation. Now, Austin, Texas happens to be a city where 3/4 of the residents drive alone to work. This was both pre-COVID and even during COVID, there was a high amount of driving to work. It's no surprise that drivers spend an average of 104 hours stuck in traffic each year. The city has a very old, innate, car-oriented infrastructure that doesn't support this amount of cars on the road. And instead of increasing the amounts of roads, Austin is increasing the road options and transportation options. So the city recently passed 2 new propositions that seek to invest more than $7 billion in the transit system and another $460 million in pedestrian and bike-friendly roads. I am super excited about this because riding our bikes and moving from our suburb where we will live into Austin proper or other areas by bicycle or pedestrian ways is really exciting to me. They're going to reserve $300 million of those dollars to ensure that residents aren't displaced from their homes as a result of gentrification. So, Kristy, this is kind of an interesting topic, right? Whenever any city or municipality or, community decides to invest in transportation, there is always a risk of gentrification. And Austin, certainly, which is having a massive amount of real estate boom.
It's probably because all the Californians.
Exactly.
Because all the Californians are moving there, Summers.
I know, although perhaps slightly less after recent weather conditions. But nonetheless, the mad dash. How does the city prevent gentrification, and how would taking something like this $300 million protect against gentrification?
Well, I mean, and the problem with gentrification isn't necessarily that neighborhoods are becoming nicer, but it's rather the people who are current residents getting priced out of living in their homes that they've been living in maybe for generations. So the way that the city is going to be investing in the people who are currently residents and helping to keep them from getting priced out is by offering rent subsidies and building more affordable housing mixed in with the new transportation routes that they're building, and also offering more substantial financial assistance to home buyers. I think this is really important to acknowledge because even though this is a transportation focused bill, as you like to say all the time, solutions are not siloed. And to make a less car dependent type of a city, you also have to change the kind of the way that people live and where people live. And so having mixed use kinds of developments, not just having massive suburbs, which it's hard to get from where you're going to be to the city center without driving a car, unless there's light rail or some other form of public transportation or some other way of getting from one place to another. The other thing to do is to build more locally run shops, stores, communities that have more than just homes in them, right?
Exactly. Multi-use communities.
Multi-use communities.
The area that we are moving to, previously was sort of considered out in the boondocks. It's not that far from Austin proper, but where, if you live in a place like California where you're accustomed to multi-use, right? There's homes and there's corridors and there's businesses all along the way. Austin is investing in that. And so I'm very excited that my little area of Austin has also commercial development. So it won't require quite the distance to travel.
Well, the thing that I'm wondering, and I don't know the answer to this, but I'll be interested to see, is part of what has to shift is kind of a cultural shift. I mean, we have the technology to make these updates, and it's wonderful that they're investing in a transit system that isn't just trying to make it more car friendly, but rather trying to make it more person friendly.
Yes.
And take into consideration like the human built design. But I mean, I like having the ability to jump on my car and just go wherever I want to go. So shifting expectations, shifting habits, shifting transportation patterns, and what we consider convenient is going to be a challenge. And I wonder if they're investing some money in
in the cultural shift, in education,
cultural, informational type things. So,
Well, I know that we read an update. There was an article from the Austin Monitor that gave us an update that the Transportation Department, head by Assistant Director Anna Martin, they said that they're excited to deliver this opportunity for the program, but they are working very aggressively on prioritization and looking at the way to roll it out effectively. Projects including the bikeways, urban trails, pedestrian improvements, safe routes to schools, as well as large capital projects, including bike and pedestrian boardwalks over Lady Bird Lake. So I think this is a really exciting solution. I know that a lot of cities all over the world are changing the way transportation works and the way that streets are prioritized. And I am certainly excited once we get there to see how it all comes together. So thank you, Kristy, for selecting this solution and for joining me for this mini episode of the Optimist Daily Update.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we promise to keep doing these solution-based positive news stories with ideas on how you can participate in the changing world to help ensure it's change for the good. Whether it's in Austin or other places in this world, we are going to keep covering current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offering you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
All right, and on vacation, I won't hit you up to join as an emissary, but if you're not already subscribed to the Optimist Daily Update, wherever you listen to podcasts, please do subscribe and also join our newsletter and share a story with someone you love. It's our job to share something good. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.